are watching Top 10 and welcome back to another episode. In this video, we will talk about some next level facts about Nintendo. Originally formed in 1889 as trading card company, the Kyoto, Japan-based Nintendo overcame the implosion of Atari in the early 1980s to revive the video game industry and make household names of pixelated characters like Mario and Link. Thanks to the success of the Switch, it's still going strong decades later, reaping sales of 1.2 trillion yen or $10.7 billion in the fiscal year 2018 alone. Check out some facts about the house that Mario built, but before we move on, please don't forget to subscribe our channel and do press the bell icon to get notifications about our upcoming videos. Number 10. Meet Dyskeon, the failed Nintendo mascot. Mario has been Nintendo's mascot for decades, but before the portly plumber came along, the company tried out a few different ideas. One of these failed mascots was Dyskeon, aka Mr. Disk, a yellow character who represented the Famicom Disk System, which explains why American audiences likely to have no idea who he is. The Disk System was an add-on for the Famicom that used rewritable floppy disk, and Dyskeon was the logo that appeared on each game. He was actually featured in some ads for the device, but once Nintendo ditched the system, Dyskeon went with it. Nowadays, Dyskeon is relegated to the occasional cameo in Nintendo games, such as a collectible trophy in Super Smash Bros. Or as a hat that your Mii can wear on 3DS. Number 9. The Nintendo 64 got a disk drive add-on. The Nintendo 64 had a pretty short lifespan, all things considered, but that did not stop Nintendo from releasing all sorts of peripherals for the console. You are probably familiar with the Rumble Pack and Expansion Pack, but did you know that Nintendo made a disk drive add-on called the 64DD? Intended to address the N64's cartridge problem, the 64DD supported CD-ROMs, thereby increasing the system's memory significantly. However, the device bombed in Japan and was never released in the US. In fact, the 64DD failed so dramatically that games like Pokémon Stadium, Majora's Mask, Paper Mario, Animal Crossing, Banjo-Tooie and even Resident Evil Zero, which were all originally intended to be released on it, had to be radically changed in response to the 64DD being discontinued. Number 8. Paul Rudd was in a Power Glove commercial. I will be honest, I'm just including this on the list because it's awesome. As it turns out, one of the actor, ageless wonder Paul Rudd's earliest roles was in a 1991 commercial for the Super Nintendo, which features him playing games like F-Zero and The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past at a drive-in movie theater that looks like it was ripped out of an 80s horror film. In other words, it's totally awesome and you need to watch it. Number 7. Nintendo and Namco had beef in the 80s. If you were making games in the late 1980s and actually wanted them to be successful, you pretty much had to release them on the NES, which was by far the dominant console on the market at the time. Unfortunately, this also meant that you had to play ball with Nintendo's strict guidelines, which limited how many games a third-party publisher could release in a given year and how many copies of each game would be manufactured. Namco played ball with Nintendo, but its executives were pretty unhappy about the whole thing and eventually turned to American publisher Tengen for assistance. You see, Tengen had found a way to make and sell NES games without Nintendo's approval, and Namco wanted a piece of the action. Understandably, Nintendo was not happy about this and ended up suing Tengen for illegally breaking the NES security system. The case was eventually settled out of court, but would cause friction between Nintendo and Namco for many years, although it would appear that they have patched things up since then, seeing as how Namco developed the most recent Super Smash Bros. Titles for 3DS and Wii U. Number 6. Nintendo once owned the Seattle Mariners. Ever wonder why there were so many Ken Griffey Jr. games on the SNES? Well, it probably had something to do with the fact that Nintendo's then president, Hiroshi Yamauchi, purchased a majority stake in the Seattle Mariners baseball team back in 1992. Apparently, it all had something to do with Seattle, WA being Nintendo's base of operations in the US for so many years, and Yamauchi wanting to show his appreciation. Weirdly, Yamauchi was not even much of a baseball fan, as he reportedly never went to a single Mariners game at any point before his death in 2013. However, he also bankrolled the team and prevented them from moving on to a different city, something that Mariners fans seem to quietly appreciate. Nintendo does not actually own the team anymore, as Howard Lincoln, the former chairman of Nintendo of America, stepped down from his role as CEO of the Mariners in 2016. However, Nintendo still retains a 10% stake in the team. Number 5. GoldenEye's multiplayer was a last-minute addition. As good as the single-player campaign was in GoldenEye 007, the game is considered an N64 classic almost exclusively due to its addictive split-screen multiplayer. It may come as a shock then to learn that the game almost shipped without it. In fact, if it was not for a few rare employees breaking protocol and working on it without Nintendo's blessing, the game would have just included the campaign. Rare employee Steve Ellis and a few of his co-workers created it only a few weeks before the game was due to be shipped, but managed to put it into the game as experiment. They had no idea how influential it could actually be, and it's safe to say that without its classic multiplayer mode, GoldenEye would not be anywhere near as fondly remembered as it is today. Number 4. The Nintendo DS almost had a very different name. Nintendo has given its many gaming devices both incredible names and ones that just make you scratch your head. They will never live the Wii U down. Fortunately, there have been times in the company's history where clearer heads have prevailed and avoided giving a product an otherwise regrettable name. Case in point, the Nintendo DS, which of course stands for Dual Screen or Developer's System. It's simple, it's elegant, and it's a hell of a lot better than the Nintendo City Boy, which is an actual name floated around for the handheld at one point. Oh god, we can just imagine the commercials set to Journey's Don't Stop Believing Now. Admittedly, there is some debate as to whether Nintendo ever seriously considered going with the City Boy name, but an official filing with the US Patent and Trademark Office says otherwise. It still would not have been as bad as Wii U though. Number 3. Mario plus Koopa equals Luigi. Most Nintendo fans know about Mario's origins. He was named after Mario Segale, Nintendo's surly American warehouse landlord. But what about his brother Luigi? Well, it turns out that Luigi was a byproduct of hardware limitations, as a lack of memory space made it so that Nintendo could not add any new colors to the 1983 arcade game Mario Bros. When it came time to design the game's second playable character, the developers opted to recycle assets who used the same character model as Mario, but with the green color of the game's Koopa Turtle enemies. In other words, Luigi is the love child of Mario and Koopa, which makes him Mario's son? It's best not to think about it. Number 2. Nintendo invented the D-pad. While it's hard to go back now that we are all so used to analog control sticks, the D-pad was an important hallmark of pretty much every early gaming controller. And it was Nintendo who came up with the first design. It was actually our good friend Gunpei Yokoi who helped design the original D-pad, as he headed development on the Game & Watch hardware introduced in 1989. The team decided to go with a cross shape and concave middle to best control 2D movements in the G and W port of Donkey Kong. Nintendo ended up patenting the D-pad design and used it in their controller designs ever since, which is why companies like Sony and Microsoft have had to use different designs with their own controllers' D-pads. Number 1. The NES is the longest lasting gaming console. The NES is one of, if not the most important console ever made, so it's hardly surprising to learn that it was on the market for a long time. And when I say a long time, I mean that it holds the record for the longest lasting gaming system in history. Originally launched in Japan in 1983 and North America in 1985, Nintendo of America discontinued the system in 1995 following a decade on the market, but the story was much different in Japan. The NES lasted almost a full decade longer in the land of the rising sun, with Nintendo finally calling it quits in 2003, a full 20 years after it was first released. And yet, the NES Classic was only on the market for 6 months. Nintendo, what gives? So these were the top 10 next level facts about Nintendo. If you liked this video, don't hesitate to appreciate us by pressing the like and subscribe buttons below.